live on ABC 22. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Here's three quick stories you're seeing on social this morning. The eruption of the Mauna Loa volcano in Hawaii could soon be coming to an end. Now, it started on November 27th. This is the volcano's first activity in 38 years.
And more than 300 Santa lookalikes spreading holiday cheer on the slopes. A ski resort, oh, I love this, in Maine hosted Santa Sunday, raising $7,500 for charity.
They need more beards. I mean, they gotta be getting
they
cold.
Need more belly. Are you kidding me?
I was gonna say it's freezing out there. Come on. And Santa made his list, checked it twice, and it's online. What? It's not online. I'm guessing it's the right thing there. The North Pole's Department of Christmas Affairs just released this year's Naughty and Nice list.
And now it's online.
You can see where you ended up. Where do you think I ended up?
Okay, we're going to Google and find out. We're going to find out who's on the naughty list.
Dude, I know I'm on the naughty list.
Well, construction kicking off this morning for a brand new opportunity in the Gem City. It's so exciting.
Dayton 24/7 Now's Alex King is live with more on how the 6888 kitchen incubator will help the community.
That's what
Alex,
it's called.
I think I did okay.
Yeah, that's right. This will be a place for people who are looking to start or build their business. It's a two-phase project. The first being the creation of OH Taste LLC's Sharpen the Axe program, and then it'll cover and then the second phase, actually, that program will cover a wide range of topics related to running a successful food business. The second phase, there we go, is the design, build out, and full operation. So this 6888 kitchen incubator will include a large training and community use kitchen, bakery kitchen, a large vegetable processing area, co-packing services for consumer product goods, a dry, cold, and frozen storage, large prep tables, 4 large cooking pods for mid-large companies, and retail space to allow tenants to showcase and sell their products. The product manager says there's a need for a space like this.
The food corridor did a study, they did a market study across the nation prior to COVID, and there was a large number of food businesses looking for a commercial kitchen to cook in. And then, of course, the pandemic increased those numbers. And right now, the closest one that could even accept food businesses right now is over an hour away.
The wait list for 6888 Kitchen is in the hundreds. The space will hold around 60 different food businesses. And with a pretty aggressive timeline, the creators of the space want to open the doors by September of 2023. Stay with us because we're going to talk more about the special story behind the name. Live in Dayton, Alex King, Dayton 24/7 Now News.
In just a matter of hours, jury selection starts in Clark County for a man accused of killing his estranged girlfriend. Now, Noelle Coles is accused of killing Jackie Coles in August of 2021. Police found her dead in her home. Now, prosecutors say he also violated a protection order against her. Coles has pleaded not guilty. Jury selection begins at 9 a.m.
This morning over the Gem City, chilly out there. Chilly start to our Monday morning.
Yeah, definitely chilly indeed. Let's check in with meteorologist.
How many times can we say chilly?
I wish it was actually a bowl full of chili. Meteorologist Nick Maruziak joins us now. And Nick, you survived one day with us. You came back.
Yeah, I'm thinking about chili right now. Yeah, I had some career decisions, some life decisions. Let me just say it this way. Today's a perfect chilly day. It's going to be cloudy. It's going to be actually pretty near average, which means high temperatures only top out in the low 30s. Right now, we're in the upper 30s. I should say we'll top out somewhere, let's say 42, 43, depending on where you are. A little bit cooler to the north, a little bit warmer to the south. That's probably the only difference. Meanwhile, it feels like the low 30s this morning. Again, if you're stepping outside, jackets at the ready, but it's not going to be that bad of a day. We will actually see some warmer temperatures later on this week, but asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. That also comes with some wet weather. We'll have that in just a bit. And here's a look on roads. No major issues as you gear up. Not quite yet. We'll continue to keep the eyes on the roads throughout the morning hours.
Cases of the flu are now on the rise as the weather gets colder. Now, here's a look at the health Ohio's Department of Health website here behind me. You can actually see in this dark blue right there, that is Montgomery County, and they have the most flu cases in the state. According to the CDC, last week was the most severe yet, but all 7 states are now reporting high or very high levels of respiratory viruses. The agency says there have been 13 million cases so far this year. 120,000 people ended up in the hospital. 7,000 died. More than a third of those deaths were reported in the last week.
We're now just under 13 days away from Christmas, and right now the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office and With God's Grace Food Pantry are teaming up to help kids in need this holiday season. They're partnering up to stuff the cruiser with toys. Now, they're encouraging people to fill this cruiser to the brim with toy donations, and once they do that, the toys will go to With God's Grace. Now, the food pantry is going to be handing out the gifts during their annual giveaway this Saturday. Now, if you'd like to attend, the sign up to Shop with Santa is now live. We do have a link, sign up on our website, Dayton247now.com.
Today, people in Dayton will be remembering homicide victims. The city is now hosting the annual Homicide Victim Memorial Service. It's a way to support people who have lost a loved one to violence. Now, if you want to attend, it begins at 6 o'clock tonight at the Westminster Presbyterian Church on 1st and Perry Streets.
A live look over our nation's capital. After nearly 4 decades, families of the Lockerbie bombing victims will have a little more peace of mind. The alleged bomb maker in the terrorist attack is now behind bars and will face charges in Washington, D.C. Abu Ajila Massoud, a Libyan intelligence official, is charged in connection with the attack on the Pan Am Flight 103. The bomb went off while the plane was over Lockerbie, Scotland back in December of 1988. 259 people in the air died and 11 people on the ground. Now, 190 Americans died in that bombing, which is the deadliest terrorist attack in the UK to date. 35 Syracuse University students were on board. This remembrance wall on campus has all their names as the site of a candlelight vigil each year.
And the State Department now says it is offering help to a soccer writer's widow after just days after his death in Qatar. You're taking a look at pictures of Grant Wall and his wife right there on your screen. A witness says the 49-year-old collapsed in the press area while covering Friday's World Cup Argentina-Netherlands match. He had complained of respiratory problems earlier in the week, but the circumstances of his death are still unclear. Sports professionals everywhere are sharing sympathies on Twitter this morning, from Billie Jean King to LeBron James. In this statement on your screen, FIFA's president says Wall's love for football was immense and his reporting will be missed.
And the World Cup semifinal kicks off tomorrow when Argentina faces Croatia and Qatar. On Wednesday, France will take on Morocco, who became the first African nation ever to reach a World Cup semi. Both games kick off at 2 p.m. and can be seen on our sister station, Fox 45.
Our time right now, 5:08 this morning. Don't forget your headlines are scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
And your weather on the side of your screen all morning long, even during commercials.
Good morning. I'm Christine Frizzell with a look at a new round of questions following that prisoner swap that brought Brittany Griner back home to the United States.
And an outgoing governor playing real-life Legos at the border. Just ahead, the state constructing a wall and the future plans from the state's next governor.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now News.
on ABC 22. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Good morning. Here's what we're looking at. A pretty quiet early part of the work week. So after all the wet weather that we saw at tail end of last week, a little bit of a reprieve. That being said, we'll get some clearing skies as we get into tonight. Tomorrow morning, actually, we'll probably see a little bit more sunshine. Meantime, rain likely for Wednesday. I do think that there's going to be some showers moving through. That'll continue through Thursday. Backside of this system, it turns much cooler. It is in a realm of possibilities. We're talking about some light snow for either Friday and or Saturday. Meantime, generally cloudy, although by 3 p.m., again, we'll start to see some breakup of the clouds. Temperatures upper 30s giving way to low 40s. Tonight down into the upper 20s. If you are leaving your car outside, maybe a little bit of frost on a car in the morning, so consider giving yourself a few extra minutes, whether it's just to heat up the car or, again, get rid of that frost. Meantime, temperatures will go from the 40s to the 50s on Thursday. We will be looking at a much cooler weekend. In fact, probably by the time we get into Friday into Saturday, we'll see some of the overnight lows drop down well down into the 20s, and some of the daytimes will barely get above the freezing mark. Meanwhile, on the roads this morning, doesn't look like any major issues whatsoever on any of the roadways that we are tracking this morning, and the traffic map showing green across the board, so no major issues again for this morning. It's one of those days where, all right, it's Monday, back to it.
Monday, here we are.
Yeah, you know, I'm looking, I would love to see some snowflakes, though, you know.
Shut up.
Why?
Stop. Sorry,
Why?
that
You
was
just
rude.
want to see everybody be miserable.
He does.
So
I swear.
how long out before you can start determining whether or not we're going to have like a white Christmas?
Why are you doing this?
Because I want to know.
You're putting a lot of pressure on him. He just started.
But
I'm a diamond. I can handle it.
Well, you better be ready because there's going to be more.
Oh, I'm pretty sure of that. I know you two by now, and I hope I do.
Well,
it's coming.
It's only been 3 days.
Think about it. This is going to be fun. Yeah.
He's going, are you sure you want this?
Yeah.
Are you sure you want this?
Nathan was already like, you got to get ready for it. He's like, and you got to shut her down real quick.
I encourage her. That's what I
He
do.
does.
That's a bad life
I like
choice.
him better than you.
Yeah, I get it now.
All right, we got to actually do our jobs. We're getting yelled at here. A live look this morning from the very dark White House, where the Biden administration says it is not giving up the fight to bring American Paul Whelan home from Russia. This just days after the U.S. traded a Russian arms dealer for Brittany Griner.
Dayton 24/7 Now's national correspondent Christine Frizzell explains why some are questioning the swap.
Are you ready for long flight?
Yes.
Back on American soil, Brittany Griner is free, as the decision to bring her home in exchange for Russian arms dealer Victor Bout is now being both criticized and celebrated.
First of all, the negotiator is highly skilled and not a political actor. And second of all, what he got done was heroic.
Top Republicans and some Democrats, meanwhile, warning of what the U.S. had to give up, a person nicknamed the Merchant of Death.
Someone who was convicted at trial by unanimous jury of conspiracy to kill Americans. He was convicted of conspiracy to provide material support to terrorists. I think people of good faith can, in good faith, ask questions and be concerned about it.
House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy in a tweet calling it a gift to Vladimir Putin. A sentiment echoed in the Russian news agency TASS, reporting Russia's human rights commissioner called the release a, quote, New Year gift, which critics say is evidence of a bad deal.
It creates the wrong incentives for the bad guys as we go forward. It's not good for American national security. It's not good for people who are traveling across the world. The Trump administration was always very clear. We weren't going to trade bad guys for celebrities.
The man who helped negotiate the trade firing back, saying Brittany Griner wasn't just a celebrity basketball star. She's also an American citizen.
Was it bad to trade someone like Victor Bout? I think the question is, it's horrific to leave an American wrongfully detained in a foreign jail cell.
Both for those involved in making the deal and those criticizing it, the most difficult part was not also being able to bring former U.S. Marine Paul Whelan home as well.
There was no choice here. He was either bring Brittany home or not. They were putting Paul Whelan in a different bucket. They're treating him as a spy.
While the White House says it's holding out hope of bringing Paul Whelan home soon, others say it may now be a lost opportunity, raising fears U.S. national security has been put at risk. I'm Christine Frizzell reporting.
The West dealing with some winter weather as we have a live look at Flagstaff, Arizona. Why does Arizona get snow and we don't? Man, come on. The state's governor is now spending his last weeks in office building a border wall, though, out of shipping containers. Doug Ducey is continuing the project, stacking containers double high and topped by razor wire. Now, federal agencies ordered a stop to it. They say construction on U.S. land is against the law. Environmental groups say a wall poses a threat to water systems and animal habitats. Democrat Governor-elect Katie Hobbs says she's considering options for removing the walls when she takes office.
5:18 is our time right now. Polar bears coming out at Christmas time. Oh my goodness. But this time they're not drinking that soda. Just ahead, I like to call it pop, by the way. Just ahead, the new Cubs creating a buzz in the Buckeye State.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now News.
Live on ABC 22, you're watching Dayton 24/7 Now.
All right, it's time for the dog of the day. Now, I know what you're going to say. Why is your dog doing it again? Well, here's the thing. I'm going to start to look at it today, and we're going to get probably a week, if not 2 weeks worth of dog of the days done. So here's what I want you to do. Go ahead and send those in, and we'll actually get some new dogs of the day. Again, it's something I'm very passionate about. When I found out about it, I was really, really happy. Now, also, maybe not necessarily really happy about the forecast, but comparatively to Friday and Saturday where it was misting, it was raining, I could say this is a little bit nicer. Temperature is still low 40s, so not particularly that warm, but it is going to be around average. We will actually get some sunshine as we get into the afternoon and evening hours, so at least there's something to look forward to later on today. Meanwhile, looking forward to the morning commute. Doesn't look like there's any major issues on the roadways this morning. I-75 and US 35 looking pretty good. I-75 at Main Street also looking pretty okay outside, and the maps show green across the board, so no major issues on the roads this morning.
When asked about a hypothetical choice between two presidential candidates in 2024, by a 2-to-1 margin, 56% of voters in today's Number of the Day prefer a candidate who says parents need more control over what their children are taught. More than a fourth say teachers and other education professionals should decide. A Scott Rasmussen national survey finds Republicans favor parents having more control, while Democrats prefer the latter.
Keurig Dr. Pepper is joining the energy drink craze with a 30% stake in Nutrabolt. Nutrabolt was founded 20 years ago. Investors in the company include comedian Kevin Hart. Well, a new study confirms that you don't have to do a hard workout to reap the longevity rewards of exercise. The paper, published in Nature Medicine, shows even tiny spurts of exercise throughout the day are associated with significant reductions in disease risk. Now, those who engaged in 1 or 2 minute bursts of exercise 3 times a day, like speed walking or rapidly climbing stairs, showed a nearly 50% reduction in cardiovascular mortality risk and a roughly 40% reduction in the risk of dying from cancer. Well, yoga is lowering your blood pressure and slashing the risk of heart disease. According to a new study, it finds that yoga participants, or stretching even for 15 minutes a day, 5 times a week, resulted in people who had lower blood pressure after 3 months, and they had a lower resting heart rate as well. From the NASDAQ market site, I'm Jane King. Here's your health.
Well, taking a live look this morning of the polar bear den at the Toledo Zoo. Oh, they're so sweet. Christmas came just a little early with the arrival of twin polar bear cubs. It reads, "Shh, they're sleeping." Live watching will resume at 9 o'clock this morning. The 2 bundles of joy were born December 1st. The babies aren't old enough to be on display just yet, but you can watch them on the zoo's live stream every day via YouTube. When fully grown, these tiny little cubs could weigh as much as 1,300 pounds. The polar bear population is facing a serious decline due to climate change, but the breeding program in Toledo offers hope for vulnerable and endangered species. Oh my goodness, how precious.
That literally looks like me and Owen during nap time.
Yeah, they're sleeping way better than my little guy was this morning when I left. As I was walking out the door, he's going, "Wow!" And I was like, "Oh, someone's up partying at 3 a.m.
Not us, right?
Yeah. No, not us.
Yeah.
No.
It's like, oh no,
Not
look
till
at the
5.
mom. Yep.
When I nap, I lay there and he doesn't move for like 3 hours, and he's like, by the time I wake up, he's like tucked in like this, and I'm like, yeah, that's because I'm just big and warm.
I wish I could get my Roman to do that. My 2-year-old, he will not nap with me. If I lay like in his bedroom next to the crib, he'll do it, but like not in bed with me, because I would totally. Give me a 3-hour nap.
It makes nap time way, way, way easier.
Oh, I'm sure. I've tried multiple times.
He used to only like mom, but now he's likes dad, so we're good.
Hey, I got nothing on this. I got no.
I don't know.
I'm just sitting over here. Cool polar bears. You know, they were all like, hey, what are their names? Mauler and Crawler.
I don't think we have names yet for them. Maybe you could name them.
No, based off the suggestions you just had, we might need to go back to the drawing
never
board.
Mind.
But
Coke and Cola. Let's go with that.
There you go.
Oh, I do like the Coca-Cola bears.
Yeah, they're cute.
Good fun. Our
you
time
read
right
the
now.
teas?
Yeah, 5. Still to come.
An exciting opportunity for food entrepreneurs is coming to the Gem City. Coming up next, we're going to talk more about the story behind 688 Kitchen Incubator.
And a new episode for the Missing Erica Baker podcast in minutes. Details to the latest search and what to expect in episode 7.
But first, here's Chief Meteorologist Natalie Walters.
Good morning. In today's TikTok of the day, I talk about why snowfall is so peaceful. Have you ever noticed that it's quieter after a fresh snow? Snow is actually porous, so these ice crystals with 6 sides have lots of open spaces in between them, and those open spaces can actually absorb sound waves. So if you ever think it's really peaceful after a fresh snowfall, just know that there's actually some science behind it.
In today's Tech Bites, Twitter's subscription service is relaunching. Twitter Blue returns today, offering subscribers a blue check mark as well as other features. Before getting the check mark, accounts will be reviewed to prevent impersonators. The service costs $8 a month. The clock is ticking for Apple, now facing a 2-year deadline to switch the iPhone over to USB-C. The European Union is giving manufacturers until December 27th of 2024 to make the change to their data and charging ports, meaning Apple will be forced to ditch its Lightning connector. And Chrome now has passkey support. The tech was designed by Google, Apple, and Microsoft. Google's Password Manager can now synchronize passkeys across Chrome and different devices on Android. The goal is to make logons safer and easier. You know, I once tried to change my password to 14 days, but it was too weak. Those are your Tech Bites. Have a great day.
Guys, there's something on the ship. There's something with us here.
What do we do?
Get to the escape pods. Go now!
Okay, I'm an alien, and I got these claws. I'm climbing the wall now.
If you're making a sci-fi movie, you need to finish the special effects.
Does that look good?
And if you want to save by bundling home and car insurance, you need Geico.
Guys? Uh-oh.
See how much you could save by bundling with Geico.
Is that going to be a problem?
Complete your holiday wish list with a free limited edition bracelet when you shop Pandora Jewelry.
What's the #1 retinol brand used most by dermatologists? It's Neutrogena. Rapid wrinkle repair smooths the look of fine lines in 1 week, deep wrinkles in 4. So you can kiss wrinkles goodbye. Neutrogena.
Live on ABC 22, you're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Here's 3 stories you're waking up to on social media right now. Twitter CEO Elon Musk is now calling for Anthony Fauci to be prosecuted.
NASA tweeting incredible images of the moon taken by Orion. Look at that while in space.
That's insane.
Isn't it? It's
Wow.
incredible.
Pretty cool. And then Mount Fuji high above the clouds in Japan.
That's it right there.
Jeez.
Isn't that? I don't know why I found that so fascinating.
This is actually taken from a commercial airliner that flew over the country. And that is just, I can't imagine trying to get up to the top of that bad
It's
boy.
higher than the clouds.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. Well, the latest podcast episode of Missing Erica Baker is out right now.
Now, in the 7th episode, our podcast team works with area detectives and volunteers to search for the remains of Erica Baker. Now, the 9-year-old girl mysteriously disappeared back in 1999 while walking her dog in Kettering. Only one person has ever been convicted in her disappearance, and her body was never found. After examining the case, we uncovered a new clue and gave detectives a new location to search. Detectives from Kettering, Montgomery County, and Texas EquiSearch Midwest started a new search, and we went along.
I appreciate EquiSearch and all the people and the feedback from the podcast. That's what got us out here. You guys took the time to do the podcast. It has brought more attention to the cases, which we have to do. You know, we're not going to give up, and the podcast has been very successful.
Go behind the scenes with us for that search, what we found, and hear why detectives refuse to give up hope that they'll find Erica. To download this and previous episodes, just scan the QR code on your screen or search Missing Erica Baker on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Well, get ready because the construction for the 6 888 kitchen incubator kicks off this morning at the Dayton Arcade. It is exciting.
Yeah, this should be really awesome, and that's where we find Dayton 24/7 Now's Alex King live this morning. And Alex, what's the meaning behind the name?
Well, the 6888th was the first and only all-black female Army Corps unit to be deployed overseas during World War II. The unit was active from 1945 to 1946 and consisted of 855 women under the command of Major Charity Adams, who was a resident of Dayton, and 2 other women. And they really delivered a lot of packages and mail during that time. And now 3 women have come together to create this space for the community, which will now include a large training and community use kitchen, a bakery kitchen, a large vegetable processing area, co-packaging services for consumer product goods, dry, cold, and frozen storage, large prep tables, 4 large cooking pods for mid-large companies, and retail space to allow tenants to showcase and sell their products. The project's manager says there is a need for a space like this.
To me, one of the biggest assets that this kitchen is going to bring is workforce and economic development. Because of this space, you know, a lot of the entrepreneurs that are going to be in there will have the opportunity to grow their business. So that means more jobs, more brick and mortars opening, more catering companies opening, more companies looking to do batch fulfillment. So that means more workers, more shipping. And then that, of course, will also help increase the economy.
Jamaica White tells me the hope is to service as many food entrepreneurs as possible throughout the Miami Valley. This space will give them plenty of room to build their businesses and have access to resources while networking. And with a pretty aggressive opening date, they're hoping to have these doors open here behind me by September of 2023. And coming up next, we're going to talk more about the need for this type of space here in the Miami Valley. Live in Dayton, Alex King, Dayton 24/7 Now News.
New video this morning of, snow in California. UC Berkeley posted this video of their Central Sierra Snow Lab. It got more than 37 inches in 24 hours. That's incredible. And they expect even more.
Meanwhile, things are a little calmer here in the Miami Valley as we take a live look over Dayton.
Calmer isn't I feel like that's like a trick word. Calmer, like weather-wise, but calmer in this, not in the sense of like this morning show.
I was going to say it's not calm in here. So let's check in with meteorologist Nick Maruziak. And Nick, we're not getting any snow like that, are we?
No. And speaking of calm, you're like, oh, let's toss over Nick for Panic Central. All right, today we are looking at temperatures in the mid to upper 30s at 7 a.m. Cloudy skies will get way to maybe a little bit of clearing during the morning hours, but by and large, it is still going to be pretty cloudy. So if you're putting the kids on the bus, yet again, temperatures upper 30s, nothing that we haven't seen as of late. It is worth pointing out tomorrow that it will be substantially cooler, meaning upper 20s, but that's because we'll actually get a little bit of sunshine later on today and a little bit of sunshine early on tomorrow. Meantime, on the roads, no major issues at 675 and 75. 75 at Penny Royal looks like it is still okay outside. So at this present point, doesn't look like there's any major issues.
Tomorrow, people will have a chance to say goodbye to Miamisburg's longest-serving mayor, Dick Church Jr. He served the city for 28 years and retired just back in 2019. Visitation is tomorrow in the Miamisburg Civic Center from 3 to 8 p.m. The funeral service will then be Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock at St. Jacob Lutheran Church, followed by the burial at Hillgrove Cemetery. Church was just 81 years old. He died last Thursday after a brief illness. And I have to say, I interviewed him multiple times. One of the nicest people I have ever met in person.
And he's certainly an institution.
In the city of Miamisburg,
yes.
absolutely. Yes. Everybody knew Dick Church, and he just was like I just could never get how nice he truly was. That's how, sometimes with city government and media, it can be a little touchy, but he never, ever treated us that way.
And he's going to be missed, and I'm sure a lot of people will be out there honoring his life.
Absolutely.
Our time right now is 5:38. Don't forget, you can get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
Your weather, of course, on the side of your screen all morning long, even during commercials.
An all-Ohio matchup for Week 14 of the NFL season just ahead. Matt Digby has highlights from Paycor Stadium.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now News.
Well, today is a pretty plain day. If you go by averages, I mean, we're going to be within a degree or so of it. It'll be generally cloudy. There could be a few breaks in the clouds. Right now, I'm thinking afternoon, evening, you'll start to see maybe a pocket or two of blue sky. Then it'll probably go back to cloudy. Once you get into the evening, and I am specifically talking about right around sunset, that's where we actually could clear all the way out. Because of that, it is going to be a much cooler start to your day tomorrow. Plan on temperatures below freezing, so especially if you leave your car outside, you have to contend with that. It's probably going to be a little bit of frost early on. Obviously, we're outside the growing season, so not any concern for anybody who's left some plants outside. By now, we've already seen a couple temperatures below the freezing mark. So again, that's not a major concern in the morning, just something to keep note of. Tomorrow during the daytime, we'll have highs in the mid-40s. We'll actually get up to around 50 both Wednesday and Thursday, but that comes with a chance of some rain. Meanwhile, on the roads, no rain whatsoever. So we've got that going for us this morning. And again, we are looking at a pretty quiet overall next 2 days.
Good morning. I'm Matt Digby with a look at sports. 5 games to go in the NFL season entering this weekend. The Cincinnati Bengals control their own destiny, not just for a playoff berth, but the AFC North title. But Week 14 marked their annual home game with the Browns, a team Cincinnati hasn't beaten since Joe Burrow's final year at LSU. Let's go to Paycor Stadium. Bengals going for a 5th straight win of the season. Browns would have the first meaningful drive of the afternoon, though, going past the 50. Nick Chubb gaining a first down on this carry near the sideline, but the drive ends in a turnover on downs. It's scoreless after 1. Second quarter, Joe Burrow sees an opening to run up the middle, enough for a first down in the red zone. And in fact, the very next play on the drive, Burrow will look to his left, and you talk about threading the needle. Jamar Chase on the receiving end of the opening touchdown of the game. Bengals on the board first. They lead 7-0. Browns trying to answer on their ensuing drive. Deshaun Watson making just his second start of the year. He finds Amari Cooper, who gets out of a tackle and races down the sideline for a first down. Cleveland kicks a field goal out of that drive. They're within 7-3. But right before halftime, the Bengals answer. Samaje Perine looks to be stopped, but he refuses to give up on the play, bouncing off a tackle into the end zone for 6. 13-3 the lead at halftime. Third quarter now. Check out this play. Joe Mixon pitches back to Burrow for a flea flicker. Trenton Irwin wide open on the receiving end for a 45-yard score. 20-3 at that point. The Browns trying to trim the deficit. Watson with the play action. He rolls to the right, connects with David Njoku, who wins the race to the pylon for a touchdown. 20-10 the score after 3. But then in the fourth quarter, the Bengals able to keep the Browns at bay. This Mixon run for a first down, helping to take up some clock as Cincinnati beats the Browns for the first time since 2019. 23-10 the final.
And guys just stepped up, knew what to do. There had to be a lot of modifications, but we settled in and found a way to move the ball, and that's really because our defense allowed us to. You know, they gave us the time by limiting the points off the board to let our offense find a way.
We've been right there in all the games against them. We just haven't come out on top. Today we did. Defense played unbelievable, and that was really ended up being the deciding factor in the game, how well they played. People want to root for them. You know, that is what it is. We love our fans, and if you want to come on over, you can hop on the bandwagon.
So the Bengals have now won 5 straight. They're on the road next Sunday at Tampa Bay. In fact, they have their next 2 games on the road before returning to Paycor Stadium on Monday, January 2nd, when they host the Buffalo Bills. That will do it for sports. I'm Matt Digby.
Our time right now is 5:45. In the 80s, the claim was video killed the radio star, but it actually might be electric vehicles. In minutes, why EVs might be the end of AM radio.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now News.
on ABC 22. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Electric cars may not be spelling the end, may not only be spelling, there we go, Elise, let's read, the end of the internal combustion engine, but they could also take AM radio off the air. Many of the major electric vehicle manufacturers have been leaving AM radio off their new cars, including BMW, Tesla, Volkswagen, Ford, and Volvo. The reason is electromagnetic interference, which causes static and noise on the AM dial, annoying motorists. Now, if more electric vehicles drop AM radio, some broadcasters say they could lose their key audience during morning and afternoon drives when listeners are commuting to work.
It's interesting because I was a big radio person, or listened to radio a lot, and I still actually do. A lot of times you'll find me on Friday and Saturday nights listening to a baseball game on my back porch because, well, I'm 95 at heart. As for today, we'll see temperatures going from the 30s into the low 40s. Should actually get temperatures into the 40s if we do get sunshine, which I think there's at least some chance of that. Meantime, Tuesday will be in the mid 40s as well. Mid to upper 40s on Wednesday. I think it depends on how much showers we do see. Some of the models are actually kicking around the idea that we could be a little bit drier. Still think that we'll get some rain either out of Wednesday and or Thursday, but it is trending perhaps maybe just a touch drier for Wednesday than, let's say, a deluge of rain. Meantime, Friday, look at that temperature drop, about 10 degrees from 24 hours, and then we'll drop another 4 or 5 degrees as we start getting into your weekend. I would say at this point, Friday, non-zero chance of either rain or snow, but I think the better chance overall is going to be for your Saturday to see some snow showers across the area. Meanwhile, no snow right now as you head out the door. We are seeing pretty smooth sailing all across the area when it comes to the roadways. So again, no major concerns this morning, whether it's 75 at Springboro Pike, 75 at Main Street, or just about any other roads. As for the maps, they are green, which means you are good to go. And as always, give yourself some extra time around some of those school bus areas.
Our time right now, 5:50. Run, run, run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man.
Not the gumdrop buttons! You monster!
Coming up, we run to a holiday favorite and celebrate a sweet tradition.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now News.
And this morning's GMA First Look, an urgent search for a missing American student in France.
It's not characteristic of Kenny to not reach out to us and let us know what's going on.
Kenny DeLand Jr., a 22-year-old senior at St. John Fisher University in New York, was supposed to return home this week from southeastern France, but his mother received a concerning phone call in late November from a college liaison.
She had to file a missing persons report because they had not seen him in 24 hours. I'm not there. I'm here, thousands of miles away.
The last time his parents heard from their son was on November 27th. According to the family, he boarded a train near the university and headed south, his phone pinging along the way.
If anybody has a way to help us and find him, help us.
And coming up at 7 a.m., more on the investigation. With your GMA First Look, I'm DeMarco Morgan, ABC News.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, a Pfizer vaccine.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I'm asking about Prevnar 20 because there's a chance pneumococcal pneumonia could put me in the hospital.
If you're 19 or older with certain chronic conditions like COPD, asthma, diabetes, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you may be at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Prevnar 20 is approved in adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most common side effects were pain and swelling at the injection site, muscle pain, fatigue, headache, and joint pain.
I want to be able to keep my plans.
That's why I chose to get vaccinated with Prevnar 20. Because just one dose can help protect me from pneumococcal pneumonia.
Ask your doctor or pharmacist about getting vaccinated.
The Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
Are waking up to what is pretty cold outside. I mean, you can probably see the breath of my air right now on air, but it's going to get a little bit milder later on today. We do expect temperatures eventually to get into the low 40s. So for right now, again, a lot of upper 20s expected rather for tomorrow morning. But this morning, right now, we're in the 30s. Meanwhile, Wednesday morning, look at it. It's upper 30s, but it's also chances of rain. Meantime, we're going to see a temperature spread something along these lines from the 40s into the 50s and eventually back down into the 30s. So you're talking about one of these patterns that it gets milder and milder, but we get wetter. And then on the backside of that, we really start to crash down, especially Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And it is well within the realm of possibilities, either Friday or Saturday. We not only talk about maybe a little bit of rain, but potentially even a little bit of snow. I'm not thinking a major system, so unfortunately for Nathan inside, we're not going to see 4 or 5 inches, but we may see a little bit as we get into Saturday. We'll time that out for you and talk more details on that coming up in just a bit.
Well, behind me are some candles from cornershopco.com, or company, I should say. The sweet smell of dessert. The company in West Virginia has found a new hot take in the retail market. I am so excited for this. Now, these aren't just any candles. They are handmade, hyper-realistic dessert candles. In January, the owners of Corner Shop Company started their business as a boutique where they sold clothing and home items, but quickly pivoted when they saw an increase in candle sales. They also sell dessert-style candle pies, too, each of them taking 4 hours to create. Scents include blueberry cheesecake, banana cream pudding, and cinnamon roll.
That sounds dangerous. Today is a day for building. It's National Gingerbread House Day, and it's time to celebrate a classic holiday tradition. The gingerbread house dates back to the Brothers Grimm fairy tale. The tradition comes from Hansel and Gretel finding a witch's house made of gingerbread. Now, after the story became popular, German bakers capitalized on the trend, and gingerbread houses soon became a Christmas custom. Whether you bake your gingerbread from scratch or build your holiday house from a kit, today is the ideal time to celebrate. And I feel like we did this as a contest, I don't know, a couple years ago. Was it last year?
We made a gingerbread. No, I don't. Well, now I can't remember. Oh,
but all I
thought
know,
Nick was in this.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways, it is a lot.
I gave him the snap and everything.
It is a lot harder than I realized.
A gingerbread house?
Yeah, I never really made them growing up.
I didn't either, and I'm never going to make it again.
It was so hard.
I thought about it with the boys, and then I said pass. Hard pass on that.
Yeah, this age it's not worth it because then they just want to eat everything.
I don't even care about that. It just was a terrible.
It was a
terrible
disaster.
Experience. Yeah.
You know how I remedied mine? I put a giant dinosaur on top and said he's the one that wrecked it, not me.
That's actually a good idea.
Yeah.
You didn't do that.
I did too. I could show you the proof.
I don't remember that.
Shows how much you paid attention. We got a lot more coming up on ABC 22 in the morning at 6 a.m.
Construction is kicking off today for 6888 Kitchen Incubator here at the Dayton Arcade. We're going to talk about what it all will bring to the community coming up next.
5:57 is our time. You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now News.
Live on ABC 22, you're watching Dayton 24/7 Now.
Here's 3 quick stories you're seeing on social this morning. The eruption of the Mauna Loa volcano in Hawaii could be coming to an end. Put on quite the show.
Yeah.
Starting November 27th, this is the volcano's first activity in 38 years.
That was a great contribution I had. Yeah.
You did good.
And more than 300 Santa lookalikes spreading some holiday cheer on the slopes of ski resort in Maine. Check them out. Actually held a Santa Sunday, raising $7,500 for charity.
A little disappointed in the lack of beards.
I'm disappointed.
There's like that one dude.
I need like a big bowl of belly.
Jelly blubber? I don't know.
Blubber? Whatever you want to call it.
I've got plenty of that. Santa's made his list.
Me
checked
too
it
these
twice,
days.
And now it is online. The North Pole's Department of Christmas Affairs.
We forgot to look to see who's on the naughty list.
He's got it
never
in the
mind.
show. Our producer does, and I know where I land, and I know where you land too. You can take a look at where you ended up.
Well, construction kicking off this morning for a brand new opportunity in the Gem City.
Dayton 24/7 Now's Alex King is live with more on how the 6888 Kitchen Incubator will help the community. Alex.
That's right. This is a place for people who are looking to start or build their business. It's a two-phase project, the first being the creation of OH Taste LLC's Sharpen the Axe program. It'll cover a wide range of topics related to running a successful food business. The second phase is to design, build out, and also to create a full operation. 6888 Kitchen Incubator will include several things. It'll include a large training and community use kitchen, a bakery kitchen, a large vegetable processing area, co-packaging services for consumer product goods, dry, cold, and frozen storage, large prep tables, 4 large cooking pods for mid to large companies, retail space to allow tenants to showcase and sell their products. Now, the project's manager says there's a need for a space like this.
The food corridor did a study. They did a market study across the nation prior to COVID, and there was a large number of food businesses looking for a commercial kitchen to cook in. And then, of course, the pandemic increased those numbers. And right now, the closest one that could even accept food businesses right now is over an hour away.
The wait list for 6888 Kitchen is in the hundreds. The space will hold around 60 different food businesses. Now, with a pretty aggressive timeline, the creators of this new space hope to have these doors open by September of 2023. Stay with us because we're going to talk more about the story, I should say, behind the name. Live in Dayton, Alex King, Dayton 24/7 Now News.
In just a matter of hours, jury selection starts in Clark County for the man accused of killing his estranged girlfriend. Now, Noelle Coles is accused of killing Jackie Coles in August of 2021. Police found her dead in her home. Prosecutors say he also violated a protection order against her. Coles has pleaded not guilty. Jury selection begins at 9 a.m.
Taking a live look this morning over the Gem City. It is awfully chilly to your Monday morning.
Yeah, a little chilly as you're waking up. Meteorologist Nick Maruziak here joins us live now with a look at your weather.
Yeah, a little smoked paprika, maybe a little bit of, let's see, chili powder. Yeah, cumin, I was thinking of that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, what's the other chili powder?
I don't know.
Cayenne, that was the one I was looking for, cayenne. And I was thinking, okay, let's make some good chili outside today. I mean, it is the type of weather you want, that warmth in you. 37 degrees at 7 a.m. By the time we get towards 9, it's still going to be upper 30s. We may actually start to get a few breaks in the clouds around 11, but we're still, by and large, talking about a cloudy start to your day that will get progressively more sunny during the second half of the day, and expect to see some sunshine during that evening hour. So we've got a little bit of sunshine, which does mean some cooler temperatures for tomorrow morning. Now, for this morning, if you're heading out the door, no major issues right now on the roads, and all cams are looking pretty okay for this morning. Just traffic starting to pick up as we speak.
Well, cases of the flu are on the rise as the weather gets colder. We want to give you a live look this morning at the State Health Department's website here behind me. You see that dark blue right there? That's Montgomery County, and it has the most flu cases in the state of Ohio. According to the CDC, last week was the most severe yet. All but 7 states are now reporting high or very high levels of respiratory viruses. The agency says there have been 13 million cases so far this year. 120,000 people ended up in the hospital. 7,000 died. More than a third of those deaths were reported in the last week.
We're now just under 13 days away from Christmas, and right now the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office and With God's Grace Food Pantry are teaming up to help kids in need this holiday season. They're partnering up with Stuff the Cruiser with toys, and they're encouraging people to fill this cruiser to the brim with toy donations. Now, once they do that, the toys will go with God's Grace. Now, the food pantry will hand out the gifts during their annual giveaway this Saturday. If you'd like to attend, the sign up for the Shop for Santa is now live. We have a link to sign up on our website, Dayton247now.com.
And today, people in Dayton will be remembering homicide victims. The city is hosting the annual Homicide Victim Memorial Service. It's a way to support people who have lost a loved one to violence. If you'd like to attend, it starts at 6:30 p.m. at the Westminster Presbyterian Church on 1st and Perry Streets.
A live look at our nation's capital. After nearly 4 decades, families of the Lockerbie bombing victims will have a little more peace of mind. The alleged bomb maker in the terrorist attack is now behind bars and will face charges in Washington, D.C. Now, Abu Ajila Massoud is a Libyan intelligence official in charge connection with the attack on the Pan Am Flight 103. Now, the bomb went off while the plane was over Lockerbie, Scotland back in December of 1988. 259 people in the air died and 11 people on the ground. 190 Americans died in that bombing, which is the deadliest terrorist attack in the UK to date. 35 Syracuse University students were on board. The Remembrance Wall on campus has all their names and is the site of a candlelight vigil each year.
Well, the State Department now says it's offering help to a soccer writer's widow just days after his death in Qatar. You're taking a look at pictures of Grant Wall and his wife right there on your screen. A witness says the 49-year-old collapsed in the press area while covering Friday's World Cup Argentina-Netherlands match. He had complained of respiratory problems earlier in the week, but the circumstances of his death remain unclear. Sports professionals everywhere are sharing sympathies on Twitter, from Billie Jean King to LeBron James. In this statement on your screen, FIFA's president says Wall's love for football was immense, and his reporting will be missed.
And the World Cup semifinal kicks off tomorrow when Argentina faces Croatia. On Wednesday, France will take on Morocco, who became the first African nation ever to reach a World Cup semi. Both games kick off at 2 p.m. It can be seen on our sister station, Fox 45.
Our time right now is 6:08. Don't forget your headlines are scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
And your weather on the side of your screen all morning long, even during commercials.
An outgoing governor playing real-life Legos at the border just ahead as the state constructing a wall and the future plans from the state's next governor.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now News.
Good morning. We are looking at some cloudy skies yet again for this morning. I wish I had better news to report. Oh, wait, I do. We'll actually get some sunshine during probably, I would say, the evening hours, although we could certainly see a couple of splotches of blue in amidst the clouds during the afternoon. Meantime, overnight tonight, with clear skies developing, it's likely to be a bit chillier for tomorrow morning. Think temperatures probably down into the upper 20s. Tomorrow, though, we'll see the clouds return second half of the day with rain likely on Wednesday. Meanwhile, out the door today, we'll start out in the 30s, there we go, and get into the 40s. It will be generally cloudy early on, but we should see a couple of breaks during the afternoon and evening. Tomorrow, very similar during the daytime with temperatures again in the low to mid 40s, but we will be looking at some warmer temperatures for Wednesday and Thursday. This is wet weather starts to settle in. Meanwhile, the roadways are dry this morning. We're not looking at any major concerns on 75, whether it's Benchwood over towards Main Street or just about anywhere in town. And Greene, lanes go, and all the maps showing green except your usual slowdowns across the area, so no major concerns whatsoever. And on those days where you look at it, you go, all right, it's Monday, got to deal with it.
You can take your time getting out the door, which is always nice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of enjoying, I don't know.
Are you paying attention this morning? Are you alive?
Hi, I'm Nick. I'm new here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
good to see you, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Paying attention.
He's like, hey, friend, how are you?
So I got a lot going on in my brain, and I just can't function like a normal human being.
Yeah, he just likes to use that as an excuse.
Is it the monkey playing a cymbal again?
Says the person making TikToks right now.
Don't you judge me.
Well, at least she was paying attention to the forecast.
Thank you.
I am historically bad at paying attention to the forecast. So
it's all right. Hey, you know what? As long as you don't go, all right, Nick, rain today. I just spent 2 minutes saying no rain. You know,
he's done that. He's done that. He's done that.
I would never. Our time right now, 6:13, a historic splashdown Sunday, and the return of Artemis 1 just ahead. The next step for NASA and their plan to put a human back on the moon.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now News.
Live on ABC 22, you're watching Dayton 24/7 Now.
NASA's Orion spacecraft successfully splashed down off the coast of Baja California Sunday afternoon after flying around the moon on a history-making test flight.
The Artemis 1 mission comes to a successful end after more than 3 weeks and nearly 240,000 miles traveled. Isabel Rosales has the latest.
Good descent rate, 500 feet. Splashdown.
NASA's Orion spacecraft making an ocean splashdown after a 25-and-a-half-day mission around the moon. The historic Artemis 1 test flight aimed to test out harsh environments of deep space and to demonstrate the capsule could make a safe return back into Earth's atmosphere.
It was confident, but it was tense because there were two big things that had to happen today.
Temperatures around the
First of all, the heat shield had to work, and it worked perfectly. And then the parachutes had to work.
And we're on main.
And they did perfectly.
During the test mission, no astronauts were on board. Only a few mannequins were used to gather data. The mission comes to a successful end after 4 delayed launch attempts.
We're going back to the moon, but this time not to just stay there and come back.
Next up, NASA plans to use the data collected on this mission to choose a crew for the Artemis 2, which could take off in 2024. And then NASA aims to send astronauts back to the moon in 2025, putting the first woman and first person of color on the lunar surface.
We are on our path to getting that base on the moon, to getting the understanding we need to go on to Mars, and doing the science that's front and center here in our program.
I'm Isabel Rosales reporting.
And the West dealing with some winter weather as we look live at Flagstaff, Arizona. The state's governor now spending his last weeks in office building a border wall out of shipping containers. Now, Doug Ducey is continuing the project, stacking containers double high and topped by razor wire. Federal agencies ordered a stop to it. They say construction on U.S. land is against the law. Environmental groups say the wall poses a threat to water systems and animal habitats. Democratic Governor-elect Katie Hobbs says she's considering options for removing the wall once she takes office.
And we are looking at a morning of temperatures in the mid to upper 30s. Eventually, we will start to get into the low 40s. And notice the trend is going to be for some clearing skies across the area. Now, is it going to get all the way clear? Probably not during the afternoon, but certainly by the evening, I think there's at least a decent chance that we'll actually see more clear skies than clouds. Meanwhile, overnight tonight, we'll still continue to clear. Likely to see some frost. By now, we're all basically talking about just issues when it comes to the cars and maybe heating it up, but that would be about it. Meanwhile, it will get warmer for Wednesday and Thursday with some showers possible. The weekend turns substantially cooler across the area with temperatures eventually settling into the 30s. In the meantime, we are talking about the roadways looking pretty good this morning. No major concerns, though. Traffic starting to pick up, and it does look like green means go outside, and no issues on any of our maps.
Topping this morning's Dayton Business Journal headlines, a local nonprofit is requesting $300,000 to build a resource center in West Dayton that would provide free and low-cost services to those in need. Now, Enjoy wants the Angels at Work multi-purpose outreach center to provide health care options, job training, classes, and many other services. The site would also have a commercial kitchen to do mobile feeding for senior citizens and offer afternoon programs to the school next door to the site. To read more about this story and others like it, head to Dayton247now.com, click on the news tab, and select Dayton Business Journal.
Just like people, different dog breeds can tend to have different personalities and needs, often based on the initial intended function of the animal. For example, working dogs, like hunting dogs or herding dogs, are often higher in energy when compared to a toy breed like a pug or a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, because the former needs to be able to work in fields day in and day out, and the latter is intended to be more of a lap companion. These differences are vitally important to research when determining what breed is best for you and your family's lifestyle. For example, if you live in an apartment in a city, owning a German short-haired pointer or a Vizsla might not be the best option, as these guys tend to have high energy requirements, lest they might exhibit destructive behaviors purely out of boredom. Make sure to research breeds before getting a pet to ensure the best match is made for your lifestyle. Connect with us at our station website by looking up For Pet's Sake. We'd also love to see your favorite pet moments that you can share with our community. Go to our news app, click Explore, chime in, and upload your Petastic photos.
Our time right now is 6:21. Run, run, run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. Coming up, we run to a holiday favorite and celebrate a sweet tradition.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 on News.
Auto Matters is sponsored by Chevrolet of Troy.
I have a family member who believes tires should be black and round and last forever. That's not really how it works, but let's talk about replacing tires. Mileage is important, and when your tread depth gets below 2/32 of an inch, legally you have to replace them. But tires can get damaged from potholes or road debris, and if you get a bulge, definitely replace it. The other thing to look for is age. Old tires dry out, they crack, and that's unsafe. When you have any of these pop up, remember it's a safety issue. Get it taken care of ASAP with one of our trusted car pros here in town.
It's the grand opening celebration at Chevrolet of Troy. To celebrate, we have over 100 new Chevrolet vehicles available at or below MSRP. Don't miss out on these great deals at Chevrolet of Troy's grand opening celebration.
Welcome back, and again, Dog of the Day is coming back. For right now, I'm just using mine as a placeholder. I promise you, starting tomorrow, we'll actually get some of your dogs up there. So if you've got a good picture of Fido, of, can't think of other, Spot, I can't think of any other cliche dog names. But anyway, this is Valkyrie. She will play a lot of role in my stories on this show because she is always up to something of no good. Meanwhile, for today, temperatures low 40s. So if you are taking a dog out, expect to see it being a day where you're probably going to need a jacket at some point, but at least it's going to stay dry, and we may actually get some sunshine during the afternoon and evening. I don't think it's going to be necessarily 100% sun, but certainly there is going to be some blue sky during the early part of the afternoon, and especially for the evening, we'll likely see that sun come out. Meanwhile, on the roads, we're not seeing any major issues as you look towards our ODOT cameras. Stanley Ave looks in pretty okay, maybe just a little bit more traffic outside at this hour. Meanwhile, the maps are showing green everywhere, so again, no issues on the roads, at least none being reported at this hour.
Well, today is a day for building. It's National Gingerbread House Day, a time to celebrate a classic holiday tradition. The gingerbread house dates back to a Brothers Grimm fairy tale. The tradition comes from Hansel and Gretel finding a witch's house made of gingerbread. After the story became popular, German bakers capitalized on the trend, and gingerbread houses soon became a Christmas custom. Whether you bake your gingerbread from scratch or build your holiday house from a kit, today is the ideal time to celebrate.
Well, Santa's made his list, checked it twice, and now it's online. So let's find out who's been naughty and who's been nice. ChristmasAffairs.com. Here we go. Oh, we have to type in our names. Oh, okay. I'm up first. Here we go. Oh, I'm actually on the list.
And you are naughty.
Shut up, Nathan. All right, let's look Nathan up. This is ridiculous.
Please be nice.
If he's not on the naughty list, where is he at? Boom!
No.
This is
the most truthful thing I think I've ever revealed.
All right, let's look up Nick. Do you go by Nick or Nicholas?
Yes. Depends on how.
Nice.
Depends on. It depends on. Now we know that this list is bonkers.
This list is.
It's the most accurate thing I've ever seen.
It is not accurate at all in any way, shape, or form.
Hey, do we have anybody else that we could look up? Because I'm looking at this
Alex, do Alex, our reporter on the field.
Oh, yes. There we go. I was going to say, or Alex, our producer.
Well, this might go for both of them then.
No, we got to go Alex, right?
Nice. They're both on the nice. How about Natalie, our other producer?
All right, let's see.
This is fun.
Yeah, like.
She's on the naughty list with me.
That makes sense too.
Yeah. Totally does.
I could have called that.
Yeah, right?
You and about half the viewers at home.
I almost made that comment, and then I decided not to.
Oh, okay.
I was waiting for you.
I'm sitting on the list going, Elise is nice, Nathan and I are not, and I'm going, oh no, if it's the exact opposite, like this is just like the Santa list, like bad Santa list.
Bad Santa. You still have 2 weeks to right your wrongs, okay?
I'm fine.
So work on it.
Pass.
You got to be nice.
Pass.
Our time right
I'd
now.
rather be naughty than
You're
nice.
getting coal, and you're going to like it.
It's fine with me.
6:29 still to come.
An exciting opportunity for food entrepreneurs coming to the Gem City. Coming up next, I'm going to explain the story behind the name of 6 AAA Kitchen Incubator.
But first, here's Genevieve Gorder with America's Steals and Deals.
The following segment is sponsored by Knocking.
Everybody, I've got something to show you today that you're all very familiar with, but there's an extra twist. Now, we all love a good air fryer. It's quick. We avoid the oil, the calories, seriously like 70% less calories. But as a designer, and I'm sure a lot of you share this with me, I think they're bulky, they're not so cute, and they take up way too much space on the counter. Okay, my rant is over. Needless to say, when the air roll showed up in the mail, I was doing a little dance. Let me tell you about this solution-based product that is going to solve all your bulky air fryer issues. It's called the Air Whirl Crisper, and it can turn any pan into an air fryer. So you just place this lid on any pan that you already have, and your food will be air fried in a fraction of the time. I used it the same day it arrived, put the lid on, press the button, done. And then you're winning because you can put it all away in the drawer. The Air Whirl is so easy to use, battery operated. You can store it without any of those tangled wires. And the thermometer is right here in the front of the lid. So you always know what temperature you are cooking at, just like you would on any traditional air fryer. Right now on ASA Deals, we are offering an exclusive 33% off the Air Whirl Crisper. You guys take advantage of this deal because they're not going to last long. Go to asadeals.com.
on ABC 22. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Here's three stories you're waking up to on social media right now. Twitter CEO Elon Musk now calling for Anthony Fauci to be prosecuted.
NASA tweeting incredible images of the moon taken by Orion while in space.
That's sweet.
It is pretty incredible.
And Mount Fuji high above the clouds in Japan. Check out this amazing video at the peak from a commercial flight that flew over the country. That's pretty wild.
It is wild. Well, the latest podcast episode of the missing Erica Baker is now out.
In this 7th episode, our podcast team works with area detectives and volunteers to search for the remains of Erica Baker. Now, the 9-year-old girl mysteriously disappeared back in 1999 while walking her dog in Kettering. Only one person has been convicted in her disappearance, and her body was never found. After examining the case, we uncovered a new clue and gave detectives a new location to search. Detectives from Kettering, Montgomery County, and Texas EquiSearch Midwest started a new search, and we went along.
I appreciate EquiSearch and all the people and the feedback from the podcast. That's what got us out here. You guys took the time to do the podcast. It has brought more attention to the cases, which we have to do. You know, we're not going to give up, and the podcast has been very successful.
Go behind the scenes with us for that search and what we found, and hear why detectives refuse to give up hope that they'll find Erica. To download this and previous episodes, just scan the QR code for Missing Erica Baker on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. In just a few minutes, Elise and I are going to go into more details about what you can expect in episode 7.
Well, get ready because the construction for the 6888 kitchen incubator kicks off this morning at the Dayton Arcade.
That's where we find Dayton 24/7 Now's Alex King live this morning. Alex, what's the meaning behind the name?
Well, the 6888th was the first and only all-African-American female Army Corps unit to be deployed overseas during World War II. Now, the unit was active from 1945 to 1946 and consisted of 855 women under the command of Major Charity Adams, who was a resident of Dayton, and two other women, and now 3 women have come together to create this space for the community, which includes a wide range of opportunities. It includes a large training and community use kitchen, bakery kitchen, a large vegetable processing area, co-packaging services for consumer product goods, dry, cold, and frozen storage, large prep tables, and 4 large cooking pods for mid to large companies, and then finally a retail space to allow tenants to showcase and sell their products. The project's manager says there's a need for a space like this.
To me, one of the biggest assets that this kitchen is going to bring is workforce and economic development. Because of this space, a lot of the entrepreneurs that are going to be in there will have the opportunity to grow their business. So that means more jobs, more brick and mortars opening, more catering companies opening, more companies looking to do batch fulfillment. So that means more workers, more shipping. And then that, of course, will also help increase the economy.
Jamaica White tells me the hope is to service as many food entrepreneurs as possible throughout the Miami Valley. This space will give them plenty of room to build their business and have access to resources while networking. And with a pretty aggressive timeline, creators of the new space hope to have these doors open by September of 2023. Stay with us because we're going to talk more about what all is going into this new space and the need for it here in the community. Live in Dayton, Alex King, Dayton 24/7 Now News.
New video giving us a look at a snowstorm in California. UC Berkeley posted this video of their Central Sierra Snow Lab. It got more than 37 inches of snow in just 24 hours, and they expect even more.
Meanwhile, things are a little calmer here in the Miami Valley as we take a live look over Dayton. Meteorologist Nick Maruziak joins us live in the Weather Center. And Nick, it's a good thing we ain't getting snow like that.
Yeah, about to say, could you imagine a morning commute with 30 inches of snow? that is a big old pile of no thank you. Now, that being said, we do have temperatures mid to upper 30s this morning. Notice that north wind, so that does mean that it is going to feel a little bit on the cooler side. Not much of a difference, though, between temperatures and what it feels like. So for right now, we are feeling like we are in the 30s. Meanwhile, if you're putting the kids on the bus, 30s giving way to 40s by the time we get into the 3 p.m. hour. And note a little bit of sunshine probably poking through the clouds by that time period. Better chances of clearer skies develop not only for this evening, but especially overnight tonight. Because of that, tomorrow morning we'll probably drop about 10 degrees from that. Meanwhile, on the roads this morning, there are no major concerns at Benchwood or at Main Street. It does look like traffic beginning to pick up. So as always, give yourself plenty of extra time, especially around the school buses.
Well, tomorrow, people will be able to say goodbye to Miamisburg's longest-serving mayor, Dick Church Jr. Now, he served the city for 28 years and retired back in 2019. The visitation is tomorrow in the Miamisburg Civic Center from 3 to 8 p.m. The funeral service is Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock at St. Jacob Lutheran Church, followed by burial at Hillgrove Cemetery. Church was 81 years old. He died last Thursday after a brief illness. And I just have to say, he was one of the nicest people ever to work with as the media, to be around as a human being. He just was very, very sweet.
Yeah, it's no coincidence he was the longest serving mayor because he was such a good guy.
He was.
And a lot of people loved him.
Yeah. I personally, on a personal note, loved him, working with him professionally, but also personally. So
May he rest in peace. Our time right now is 6:40. Don't forget you can get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
And your weather's on the side of your screen all morning long, even during commercials.
A new episode from Missing Erica Baker podcast in minutes, details to the latest search and what to expect in episode 7.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now News.
You need me to get
The Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Can you bear to see it? A family of bears taking a calm stroll through a North Carolina subdivision. The person who submitted this thought it was hilarious that one of the cubs stopped to check out the front of the house. Meanwhile, at opening day at Montana's Whitefish Mountain Resort, a mom captures her son making the most of the day.
Want to see your weather photos and videos on TV? Click Chime In on this station's website to share.
So it's something that we have been doing now for months here at Dayton 24/7 Now, is we started a podcast called Missing Erica Baker. And you might remember, she was just a little girl from Kettering who went missing while out walking her dog back in 1999. And now, Nathan, you've actually been a part of this podcast from the very get-go. We had some developments after the podcast aired, the original 6 episodes. Now we have a 7th episode that is now available for folks to listen to. So what can they catch in this specific episode?
Well, looking back at episode 6, we kind of teased ahead to this bonus episode. What had happened was we found a new revelation in Christian Gabriel's confession letter. Now, Christian Gabriel is the man who admitted and confessed to getting rid of Erica Baker's body, but Erica Baker has never been found over 23 years later. So what we did was we looked at this confession letter, and basically what had happened was he had always said that he had buried her at Huffman Dam, but the directions that he wrote in the confession letter did not lead to Huffman Dam. They actually led to what would be a park south of Kettering. So we followed those directions. We found a park that we thought matched that. And so Texas EquiSearch and detectives came out with us, and we searched that new location.
So what happened on that day while you guys were searching?
Well, I mean, it was a day of ups and downs. I mean, we got out in the woods with Texas EquiSearch. They had satellite images from 1999 and the park currently. And we went out there and they found a weird depression in the ground within probably about 20 minutes of being out there. And then they started digging and they found a bone. At that point, we called the coroner's office out and discovered that it was not a human bone. It indeed was an animal bone, but it was definitely a tense moment. And it's kind of amazing to watch these EquiSearch members search these sites and what they really look for.
So when you're out, obviously the hope was to find Erica Baker's body, but it's not over, right? This isn't the end of the story here.
No, I mean, the detectives always say that they will never give up hope. Though they are realistic about, you know, these search efforts because they've done so many over the years. The one detective says he's dug hundreds and hundreds of holes. So we went out with dogs who are trained and specialized in searching for remains as far back as the 1800s. They marked 2 spots at that same park. So we're going to go back out there once the ground thaws out a little bit and dig again and hopefully find something.
And those are new discoveries. This isn't in connection to the one in this episode.
This was just like a couple weeks ago, brand new discovery. So that's something we're going to continue to look after. But if you want to, I mean, if you've not listened to Missing Erica Baker, you can still listen to it from beginning to end. Now there are a total of 7 episodes up. So if you have some time during the holidays, it'll be a good time to listen.
Yeah, you can download that episode and other episodes as well. Just scan the QR code on your screen or search Missing Erica Baker on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Our time right now is 6:47. Never too old to go back to school. An amazing grandma turns the tassel and minutes the oldest graduate to be celebrated over the weekend.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now News.
Welcome to the Watson's Weather Patio, where we are waking up to temperatures right now in the 30s, but eventually we'll get into the 40s. So here you are. Here's your next 5 days. When you look at today, low to mid 40s. Tomorrow, more mid 40s, then mid to upper 40s on Wednesday. And Thursday at this point looks like the day where we could easily hit 50 degrees. But Wednesday and Thursday are going to be your wet days. So while it is dry right now, obviously you can see the breath coming out of my ear. It's chilly outside. And speaking of chilly, Friday and Saturday, just for context, I'm looking at Saturday's temperature of 35 degrees. That's colder than it is right this second. So it just gives you an idea that we are going to get colder and colder as we get towards the weekend, and it's not out of the realm of possibilities that we actually start talking about maybe a little bit of light snow in the area on Friday and or Saturday.
Well, a 90-year-old woman finally received her diploma from Northern Illinois University 71 years after she first enrolled in college. Joyce Defoe started as a freshman at NIU in 1951, but dropped out to get married. Later, one of her 17 grandchildren, herself a student at Northern, convinced her grandma to go back to school. It took 3 years for Defoe to finish her education, but she did it online, partly in response to the pandemic. It was the first time she had ever used a computer, and on Sunday, Joyce was finally able to put on that cap and gown and cross the stage to pick up her bachelor's degree. How awesome is that story?
I love that that was the first time she used a computer.
Well, that too. But I just think that's so incredible that she got inspiration from her grandchild.
Yeah, that's so cool.
I love that more than anything.
She is setting the example for future generations.
Yeah.
And some people who think it's too late to go back to school, it's never too late.
No, obviously. It is never, ever, ever too late. Yeah. Agreed.
Good for her.
Yeah, it's just very cool.
I cannot imagine going back to school right now.
Oh, no. No.
I
But we also aren't like
retired.
Yeah. So there's a difference.
May change her mind later. Our time right now, 6:52. An all-Ohio matchup for Week 14 of the NFL season. Coming up on Fox 45, Matt Digby has the highlights from Paycor Stadium.
Well, the latest podcast episode of Missing Erica Baker is out now.
In the 7th episode, our podcast team works with area detectives and volunteers to search for the remains of Erica Baker. The 9-year-old girl mysteriously disappeared back in 1999 while walking her dog in Kettering. Only one person ever has been convicted in her disappearance, and her body was never found. After examining the case, we uncovered a new clue and gave detectives a new location to search. Now from Kettering, Montgomery County, and Texas EquiSearch Midwest, they started a new search, and we went along.
I appreciate like EquiSearch and all the people and the feedback from the podcast. That's what got us out here. You guys took the time to do the podcast. It has brought more attention to the cases, which we have to do. You know, we're not going to give up, and the podcast has been very successful.
Now go behind the scenes with us for that search, what we found, and hear why detectives refuse to give up hope that they'll find Erica. To download this and previous episodes, just scan the QR code and search on the screen. Click on the screen for Search Missing Erica Baker on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. In just a matter of hours, jury selection starts in Clark County for a man accused of killing his estranged girlfriend. Noelle Coles is accused of killing Jackie Coles in August of 2021. Police found her dead in her home. Prosecutors say he also violated a protection order against her. Coles has pleaded not guilty. Jury selection starts at 9 a.m.
Well, cases of the flu on the rise as the weather gets colder, of course. Now, here's a live, well, actually, that is not a live look, but we'll take a live look in just a moment at the state health department's website, where you could see that Montgomery County was in dark blue and has the most flu cases in the state. According to the CDC, last week was the most severe yet, but all 7 states are now reporting high or very high levels of respiratory viruses. The agency says there have been 13 million cases so far this year. 120,000 people ended up in the hospital. 7,000 died. More than a third of those deaths were reported in the last week. Well, construction is kicking off today for a brand new opportunity in the Gem City, and it is very exciting.
Extremely exciting. Dayton 24/7 Now's Alex King is live with more on how the 6888 Kitchen Incubator will help the community. Alex.
That's right. You know what? This will be a space for people who are interested in starting or building their business. It's a 2-phase project. The first being the creation of OH Taste LLC's Sharpen the Axe program, which will cover a wide range of topics related to running a successful food business. The second phase is the design, build out, and full operation. 6888 Kitchen Incubator will include a large training and community use kitchen, bakery kitchen, a large vegetable processing area, co-packaging services for consumer product goods, dry, cold, and frozen storage, a large prep tables, 4 large cooking pots for mid to large companies, and retail space to allow tenants to showcase and sell their products. Now, the project's manager says there's a need for a space like this in the area.
The food corridor did a study. They did a market study across the nation prior to COVID, and there was a large number of food businesses looking for a commercial kitchen to cook in. And then, of course, the pandemic increased those numbers. And right now, the closest one that could even accept food businesses right now is